This is Fisher Flying Products. I'm Dave Hartner. Welcome to The Nest. Our video newsletters provide weekly insight into building and flying our 15 wooden aircraft designs. Plini Motori of Italy is a gracious sponsor of our channel. Plini is the manufacturer of the Thor 250 DS, a two-stroke liquid-cooled 36 horsepower engine that is used in all of our single-seat designs. Please take the time to watch our videos to the end, as this assists us in the metrics that YouTube uses to rate our channel. Hit the like button if you feel that the content is worthy. We invite you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscribe button and hitting the bell so that you are notified whenever we post our newsletters. Hi everyone, and welcome to our channel. I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to it, and it is great to see that we have grown to 528 subscribers. We'll be reaching out to the 950 or so people who have asked to join the newsletter by pushing the button on the website. If you've already subscribed, you may get another request which you can ignore. We're not able to divide the two lists. We're happy to say that we are packing Tom Cameau's kit today and have finished production on another Tiger Moth kit for Mark V from France. Two other hardware kits are almost completed, and we'll start the Super Koala kit next. And we have confirmation on the board for two additional kits, one going to Chile and another going to Australia. I want to really thank everyone for sticking with us through this COVID crisis. It seems like we've gotten a little busier because people have been doing a little more, home at work, or work at home and work on projects and that kind of thing. So maybe we were poised to benefit from the isolation that everybody has had with flying being sort of a solitary sport for both building and for being in aircraft. So anyway, thank you very much. And today I want to spend some time talking about electric propulsion, something that we have been considering for a while, and I just want to kind of put my ideas out there to you and solicit some feedback, see if we maybe hopefully are going down the right road, motivations behind my assumptions and my thoughts, and maybe we can come together with something that works for everybody and provides a safer platform for flying. So here we go. So the topic today is electric propulsion. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a lot of notes and whatnot that I'm reading from today, so I'll be looking down a little bit here and there just to make sure I get through everything properly. Battery technology keeps improving on the cusp of the introduction of solid-state batteries, which is a disruptive event in my view. Up to now, we've got quite a good battery density, measured in watt hours per kilogram, which is currently about 260. With solid state batteries, which are coming on, there's some big announcements coming out from the Tesla boys and whatnot. We're likely to see a 70% increase in battery density with this new technology. And right now they're looking to Tesla's looking in their cars to maintain their 300 mile range kind of thing. And so what does this battery density do but make the battery module smaller and lighter and cheaper for them to produce? Now, smaller, lighter, and cheaper works for our aircraft as well, because what it does is, for the same amount of weight that we would carry right now that would give us a certain amount of time, we're going to see a 70% increase in that amount of flight time available with reserves. So that's a good thing. So this is in cars. What about planes? Pipistrel has just certified their first two-place trainer on pure battery. It has about an hour's worth of range, and with reserves, and that gives them a good unit in flight training, and it costs them something like $3 to fly per flight hour, which is crazy compared to what we pay for fuel and maintenance and whatnot in the engines that we install in our aircraft. Now we're approaching what I said before, an inflection or a tipping point where when it comes to propulsive power. And there are many firms working in various different areas of storage, battery chemistry, battery design, battery shape, and all of this stuff. It's just a wild west heady times right now, and the costs are coming down because these guys are figuring things out on how to mass produce these battery individual modules. And so now we're tasked with how do we fit them into the airplane, and how do we get them so that they're light enough that we can get enough power for a long enough period of time. I recall seeing a photo taken a long time ago of a New York scene that was taken 2 years apart. One was a picture of the exact same picture looking down the street. One had 90% horses and 10% cars, and within 2 years it had flipped to 90% cars and 10% horses. We are getting close to that tipping point, I think, with the battery chemistries that's coming along, the lightness of the motors and whatnot that have been developed, and it's all coming together right now, and it's exciting times for our light airplane industry, because we can now have the thought that, okay, well, we can go up and we can fly for a reasonable amount of time and not have all the other crap that we have to take care of with regards to engines and reliability and all this other stuff. So I'll do a little bit more about that in a minute. So what does Fisher need in an electric propulsion package to satisfy, one, the design requirements of our 15 models, and two, to satisfy the pilot owning it and his needs in the flight regime? Can we, hit the horsepower and weight requirements? Can we meet the usage requirement? Those are the two main questions. So we start with a horsepower and weight. The goal is to have 3 standard packages. A small one, 25 kilowatts or 33 horsepower. That falls just short of what the Polini output is. Another one that puts out 50 kilowatts or 66 horsepower, which is right in the range of the 582. And the large one, which is 80 kilowatts, and it puts out 107 horsepower, which is basically a Rotax 912 replacement. But remember that there's benefits with electric when we talk about altitude. So we'll talk about that in a minute. What about flight time requirements? Now, I believe, and I've heard this in a number of places, the average ultralight flight time is about 45 minutes. Up around the patch, have a look-see, maybe go to close to a neighbor, have a land, play around a little bit, but generally 45 minutes. And so if we can create a capacity that is 45 minutes plus 45 minutes reserve, gives you maybe an hour flight time and a half hour reserve, but it allows you for that nighttime flight that you want to go out or you spend out the day. And that doesn't mean that you can't come back down and put it down, charge it up on a fast charger, and be able to go out flying again later in the day. So you go up early in the morning when it's quiet, and then you let it charge all day, and then you go up in the evening when it's quiet again. There's the way to do it. So sport planes, our Dakota Hawk, and the biplanes and kind of thing. I think that we need a little more from that. We need an hour of flight time with 45 minutes reserve. Again, most of these airplanes, open cockpit, out and about, just having fun, going for a hamburger kind of deal. They're usually flown close to home, and it's my opinion that this would cover about 90 to 95% of the flights flown in our aircraft. And the others who want more flight time, or maybe they still want that ability to go cross country or longer flights, then they would opt for the gas engines. So are we there yet? I believe we're pretty close. Companies like Siemens and MGM Compro have the motors that are specifically designed for aircraft. They're either air-cooled or liquid-cooled. They're robust, and they have mounting lugs already, worked out for aircraft design. They have thrust washers, or the thrust bearings, and the robust bearings to be able to take prop loads. We're there. We're there now. So let's compare apples to apples. It's always good to make sure we have a good comparison. Let's talk cost. Now, at this point in time, costs are coming down on the electrical end, And they're still a little bit higher, but you have to do apples to apples because you don't have lifetime 300-hour rebuilds. There's only a single part, in a single moving part in these things. So it's going to be higher initially now, but like I said, we're seeing a dramatic drop in costs because the big boys are now playing in the battery game, gigafactories, and all this other stuff that are going to bring the price down, down, down. So safety, this is one of the biggest things right now. You don't know how many times I've heard people call me and talk to me or anecdotally hear about somebody had a two-stroke engine failure. And, Tim Ketchum, you're out there, you've seen this. There's a number of guys, Don Holtz had one. I know all kinds of guys that have had problems. Electric motors don't seize up like that. They have one moving part and two bearings and a thrust bearing. It is a much, much lower failure mode without the reciprocating parts. There's no fire hazard with regards to an electric setup. Now, you've heard a lot of fire things with lithium batteries, but those are the lithium packet batteries as compared to the lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are what we would be using. Lithium iron phosphate are all packed in aluminum modules. They don't expand. They don't I've seen a couple of videos where the modules have been run over by a bulldozer kind of thing, and really no fire, no a few sparks and whatnot here and there, but no real fire hazard, and they can't seize up. I mean, that's the big thing. They can't seize up in flight. Maintenance and service. So here's one that you're going to pay out over time because you're going to be doing, your maintenance, yearly maintenance for it. You're going to be doing your carb tuning. You've got your oil costs. You've got your rebuild costs. So you don't have any of that with the electric motors. And now the batteries that are coming out today are being rated for 2,000 to 3,000 charge cycles. Full top to bottom charge cycles, which means that you've got a lifetime of flying in these batteries. And then even then they only taper off slightly and they don't die out like the old NiCads used to do. Those days are gone. So now these batteries are a lifetime battery, one purchase. Let's talk performance. Electric puts out instant torque. You have 100% torque at 0 RPM. And aircraft engines are torque motors, and so you have that ability to utilize that to its best use. And also, you've got instant torque. So if you need to get out of a situation, you don't have to wait for anything to spool up or whatnot. You have the torque 100%. You push that throttle in, and it's there. So there's also no power loss with altitude. So you have 100% of your power at 10,000 feet, just like you do at sea level. And you don't get too light with fuel. Now that's another thing too, is that I've flown in a couple of airplanes that as they lighten up on fuel, they become a lot more kitey and a little more harder to control in gustier conditions. So this is gonna change things that way. It's gonna put more of a consistent weight in the aircraft that you become used to flying to, and you don't have that transformation during flight. Oh, got so much to talk about here. Fisher has started down a path towards electric propulsion packages. So I'm seeing these trends, and I'm sure that we are going to be electrically propulsed in most areas, cars, trucks. You're seeing it in lawnmowers. You're seeing it in power tools. It's coming, and it's cheap. And if we don't get on this and start working towards a positive end, then we're going to have it dictated to us. So I want to be on the front end of things. We're working now with an electric propulsion consultant and an aeronautical engineer, because we want to make sure that what we do for our aircraft makes sense for our aircraft, and that the propulsion packages that we sell are are correct for the type of airframe. The loads are distributed properly and all that stuff. So we're working with them, and then we create a package that works day in and day out. You go out there, you turn your key, you got your battery charged, away you go for an hour. That is the holy grail in my view. I would love to be able to not have to worry about going to the gas station. I would love to worry about not having to order oil. I would love to be able to go out there and unplug the thing. It's in the charger, put the battery in. You know, that's another thing. So one of the things that we've put together is design goals that I want to share with you, and you know, feel free to comment. So standardized battery packs. There's no use creating what they call bespoke or built for each individual situation. What we want to do is we want to come up with battery packs that are standardized, that they're readily available. And the other thing is that they're serviceable, because a lot of times if the battery pack starts to go down or you've noticed something's issue, it's like one cell, and that cell can be changed out. So they can be brought in and we can test them all. And we can put the battery then back together and then put it through a test cycle on testing equipment here, and we'll know that you're still good to go. You know, so that's really good peace of mind. Battery trays that accept the plug-in batteries. So, you know, in certain instances, I think for a Part 103 aircraft, we have to stay under 254 pounds. So, you know, we may have a battery in with the engine that gives you 20 minutes of flight time, but we would have two other battery trays that you could plug in extra batteries that would be more considered luggage, if you might consider that, or just added useful load with the pilot, which gives you an extended range. You could take that even further. In our two-place airplanes, you know, we could have a battery tray under the seat that would allow you to plug in an extension module that gives you more range should you need it. You may want to trade off, you know, weight of a passenger or weight of baggage for being able to go, you know, an extra half hour in travel time. So that's battery trays. And then the battery trays are designed to keep the battery in place, you know, so they're robust enough. They slide in, slide out. They have automatic connection for this, for the load sensing of all the cells, so that it goes back out to your battery management screen that's on your panel. Standardized controls and identical inputs and monitoring, so that no matter what the system size is, you have an identical way of monitoring it. And we only have one package that is required for all the different aircraft. So we can standardize the package. We can know it well. We're not providing three different kinds of packages. The only thing different would be the motor size and the number of modules, and maybe the motor control module might have to be bigger for the larger size of output. The ability to run on a single battery module at a time. So not all the batteries are not wired in series, they're all wired in parallel. Remote charging capabilities. So one of the things if you get out and you're low and you don't think you're going to be able to get back, you'd be able to plug your airplane into a 110 volt, wait it out, power it up, give yourself enough juice to get home. We're only going to use lithium iron phosphate chemistry for safety, and anything that we consider in the future would have the same safety properties as the lithium iron phosphate. And the solid state properties are supposed to be as or better in a safety end of things from that standpoint. So that's good. Now we can talk about cost. We want to keep the cost down. The initial cost is always the biggest thing for new technologies and whatnot. Early adopters, everybody pays through the nose. But I think that we're mature enough in the industry now, and with prices coming down, that I would like to, my goal would be to keep the price at between 1.5 and 2 times the price of a standard Polini or Rotax or whatever, so that your life cycle costs, again, won't be anything. You won't have to pay for fuel. You won't have to pay for all the maintenance and stuff. So you have to look at it as a full package. But life cycle costs would be lower, but initial costs might be a little bit higher. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to wrap it up a little bit here. I know I've been rambling on. Let us know in the comments section how you feel about electrical propulsion changes. it is exciting times right now. If we can come up with something like this, it's a game changer, and I want to be part of that. Fisher Flying Products wants to put together these standardized 3-level propulsion systems that we can offer out to anybody, not only our customers, but to anybody. And that's super exciting. So I'm open to suggestions and constructive criticism, please, on the subject. I think that many minds are already pushing this technology towards success. And in other areas, we need to add our specific experience to that effort. So that we can create a new standard for propulsion of microlight and light aircraft up to 110 horsepower. So again, leave your comments in the comments section. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for watching. We try hard to bring you interesting content each week. To help us out, please like and share our videos. And to receive the latest info from Fisher Flying Products, click the subscribe button and ring the bell. See you next time from the nest.